first attempt at trying to take a flat piece of sheet metal and turn it into a dome shape with positive curvature. This is my second attempt. The reason I had to do a second attempt because of this crack right here. As soon as I saw it starting to form, I went ahead and tried to anneal it because I thought maybe there's too much stress in the material, but of course by that time it's too late. The crack just kept growing. I thought maybe I could restore it, but it's too far gone at this point, which is why I moved on to the second piece. Exact same material taken out of the same stock, and you can see it's doing a lot better. I've gotten a lot more curvature. You can see the walls of this piece are curved up much farther. And I think there are a few reasons for that. So I'll talk about what I did differently on this one and why I think it didn't crack like the first one. So these are the forms that I've been using for the both of these domes. I started out just by, it was flat, putting it on here and hammering in this little cutout here, and that's where the curvature comes from. And then I also use this one a little bit, put it on here, and I can hammer to try to get it thinner in some areas. And on this piece, I think the first reason why I wasn't getting cracking was because it is much smaller on this large piece here. When I'm hammering down like this, it's stretching the material up, which means it's getting thinner right here. And this material down here is all resisting it to move up. It's basically pulling it back, which causes it to get thinner up here. But when there's less material, all the stuff down here, which was sort of pulling back on the metal, isn't there anymore, which allows it to curve more tightly, I think. Also, what I've been doing differently on this piece is, like I said, I've been sort of putting it on here and hammering it like this, not just down, but also hammering the sides, trying to sort of draw them out as well. Otherwise, it just thins out right here. When you hammer it down only, it starts to get thin right at this highest point. I'm also trying to even the thickness out by hammering along the edge here where it wouldn't get very much hammering otherwise, and it kind of draws it out. And so it's extending the curvature down, not just in. I think that helped reduce some of the stress right here on the top of the dome. So what I was trying to make a dome for was the top of this miniature helmet here, and you can see they're curved in much different ways. This is what a mathematician would call positive curvature. This is what a mathematician would call negative curvature. Positive means it's curled in the same direction in both ways. What makes this negative is it is curled in this direction here, but then the opposite direction in the other way. That's one way of putting it. So this different process, basically I have this form here, which also has negative curvature. The positive curvature I used to create the dome, and this negative curvature piece here, I just slipped it over sort of as a cylinder and hammered along there in order to get it to curve in both directions opposite.